While Vice President Kamala Harris says she has the commitment from hundreds of the Democratic delegation, her own staffers have not been as loyal. Mainstream media has called out the extraordinarily high 92% turnover rate of her own staff, with headlines like staff exodus, revolving door, and heading for the exits. And joining us today with all the details is the CEO and founder of the transparency watchdog group, OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski. Great to see you as always. You know, when you read some of these published reports, it appears to show Kamala Harris has the reputation of being difficult to work for. And after reviewing her payrolls, what did you find?
Well, the office of Vice President under Kamala Harris has been rocked by extreme turnover. Jan, incredibly, there's been a 92% turnover on her staff from her first year in 2021 through March of this year. Our auditors at OpenTheBooks.com, we broke this story. We broke it right here on the national desk earlier this week. Today, it's in David Brooks's column at the New York Times. Here's what we found. We found in her first year, Harris hired 47 staffers. After 3 years, there's only 4 of those people that have been continuously employed in her office over the course of the past 3 years. And it's actually not getting better. It's getting worse. We found in the previous 12 months, the last year, she lost 24 of her staffers. That's half her payroll, who no longer works for her, but works for somebody else.
And Adam, as we know, loyalty can be hard to find these days, but you found an overwhelming turnover rate of significant leadership positions. How did you get these numbers?
Well, it was nearly 100% in the senior leadership positions. So we took the payrolls from January of 2021 forward in her first year out of those 47 hires, and we compared it up against the payrolls from March at the end of the first quarter of this year. And incredibly, 43 out of the 47 employees were not continuously employed in her office. She turned over nearly all of her senior executive hires, so there was virtually no loyalty amongst the senior people on her staff. Only some lower level 4 people were continuously employed. Now, Jan, just so everyone can fact check our own work or see it for themselves, we released the data sets on our website at OpenTheBooks.com.
Transparency is always key. Taxpayers want to know how their money's being spent, as we know. And I understand the vice president actually refused to answer any requests through the Freedom of Information Act. What was the interaction there? And so then how did you get the information?
Exactly. Well, we found that the vice president, incredibly one heartbeat away from the president, is actually the least transparent elected official in the entire country. We started this process, Jan, 2 years ago. We filed a Federal Freedom of Information Act request for her payroll with her office. Now, we've got 26 million public employee salaries on our website. Everybody produces, every elected official in the country, but not the office of vice president. Her senior lawyer, they rejected our request. They said they're immune from the sunshine laws, the people's right to know. We vehemently disagree with that. There's no legal precedent for that, and we're going to be testing this in federal court very shortly with a lawsuit. We were creative. We know that the vice president is actually the president of the United States Senate, U.S. Senate, as elected officials. They released their payroll. And we did review that. We found her numbers mixed in with the U.S. Senate payroll figures, and that's how we gave oversight to her payroll file.
Interesting. Now, if a private company had 92% turnover rate, that company sounds like it's in big trouble, perhaps on the verge of collapse, because who can survive when you have zero loyalty and retention with your employees? You could say you had some bad hires, but you can't have 92% bad hires. The question, though, becomes how does she compare to Biden's staff turnover or previous administrations?
So every year on July 1st, the presidents have to release their White House payroll to Congress. We grab that, we give it oversight, and here are the numbers on Biden and Trump. Biden had 77% turnover from his first year to today. Trump had 72% turnover from his first year to today. And obviously, both of those are dwarfed by the vice president's 92% turnover.
CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski. Great job with your reporting for us this morning. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jan.